Good evening to you all, and welcome to tonight's meeting. Welcome, Paul. You're sitting here as an ex officio, so you will have voting rights tonight. And Sharon, thank you. 2 members of the public. Okay, and a couple of online. Right, apologies for absence. We've received apologies from Mariam, Martin, and Roger. And Tim's now joined us. Welcome, Tim. Good. Where's the signature list? Oh, and it's around somewhere. Declarations of councillors' interest. Does anyone have anything to declare this evening? No. Good. Okay, to consider the minutes of the meeting held in October. Are you happy that I sign them off as a true record of that particular meeting? Yeah. Thank you. I'll sign them off shortly. Item 5, the Chair's report. So there are a couple of items here in relation to various activities going on. Monday the 24th of November, there'll be a road closure in the High Street for the switch on of the Christmas lights. The next Parish Council's Airport Association meeting is held, will be held by Zoom on the 20th of November. Now, I noticed in the minutes that we didn't have a representative there last time. Who's our representative? Is it Mariam or Martin? Mariam, okay. Yeah. Okay. What else we got here? We have been notified by North Somerset Council that the caravan, which is housed in the garden of House on Bristol Road, is not having any further investigation. Wyndham Way closure, well, I think that's been and gone. That was for road treatment. Blacknall Lighthouse, this is an ongoing issue, and the current CIC is due to be wound up, and it will go into the ownership of the Crown estate, and then it's a question of what will happen then. We don't know. It's a grade 2 listed building structure, and it could be that we as Town Council get involved at some stage. We await further information. I
think we've written to the Crown once, but they wouldn't talk to us until the CIC's wound up,
right? Which
is next Monday.
Next Monday.
Sharon, I'm sure you'll, as soon as we get the notice from Company's House, we'll write to them again, see if we can get a conversation going. So,
yeah, good, okay. And it could be that another trust is sort of formed, isn't it, or something of that nature. Highdown School Highways improvements. There's an update in relation to the Town Council wrote to the school, and it has been agreed that the matter will be taken up with the new head of school at the end of December. The school shared its gold awarded travel plan that can be viewed, and there's a website link with that. And there we are. Right, that concludes that little section. Public participation. So, Mr. Robert Shaw, would you like to speak, or Mike online?
Hi, Ed Robert Shaw here, Glenorchy, Lake Road. I'm mostly here to observe the meeting. I don't really have anything to add. I'm available to answer any questions. I'm pretty sure it's straightforward though, because it's just a reduced version of what we've already got approved.
Yeah, I'll be bringing it up to the top of the agenda.
Oh, much appreciated, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Bob, Peter?
Yeah.
Would you like to come to this mic, Bob?
I submitted a... Sorry. Yeah, I submitted a question in writing. I guess, everybody knows my feelings about Tower Farm development. We're starting a group to challenge some of the decisions, etc. I want to make it clear that we're not against housing, but just the way it's done and where the entrance is the main issue. But I was surprised to find that in 2022, Parker's produced a promotion document to suggest building there. Well, I was a councillor then and I knew nothing about it. I don't know if anybody on North Somerset knew anything about it or whether it was just all done completely, round the back somewhere. I just don't understand how they can do something like that and not even bother have any discussion with anyone.
As I say, I'd never seen it before. Where
No.
a resident alerted me to it.
Yeah, I don't even know how they got it. I mean,
well, I think they by fluke actually. Then PC, do you know? Yeah.
I haven't looked into this one, Tom, but I'm assuming North Somerset would have a call for sites.
Yeah.
As they do fairly regularly.
Okay.
And they really are difficult to catch.
Yeah.
To see where they are, because it's a straightforward letter that goes out to landowners and agents. If you've got a site, please put it on the list.
Yeah, I mean, the Parkers.
That's almost certainly what happened.
Okay, the Parkers company, that's all they do is find pieces of land that probably already owned by builders and promote and do the PR work to try and get a development. The interesting thing is that when I was a councillor, they put the rubber counting strips across the road on the downs. And I went and asked them what they were doing, and they said what they were doing. And I checked with North Somerset, and they didn't have permission to do it, so they took them up again. But I think that's a massive coincidence now that's what they were trying to do, was prove the thing. I mean, our big issue, and it will come out, I know the council got a meeting on the 19th. Our big issue is putting a single entrance into another 400 houses. I mean, we really don't want another marina situation where there's cars everywhere, nobody can get round everywhere. The junction will be totally intolerable, really. And, you know, I just want to make sure that the council here is aware that we will make a fuss, and hopefully you'll support us in making sure that they do it sensibly. There has to be 2 access points. They can't have, I mean, 400 houses is probably 800 cars in these days, especially up in the top of the hill. Yeah, it just make it totally intolerable down a little road. I mean, that's more than twice the number of houses in the Deans and the Downs, so it's really quite a large development. So,
as we know, it's already really congested anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I find it ironic that to get our yellow lines that we've been trying for about 12 years, they're going to build 400 houses. That seems a bit extreme, really, but there we go.
I think it's also worth noting that the documentation which you refer to, the Ridge, brought forward by the Ridge and Partners, details quite specifically, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The layout and,
Yeah.
and the roads and everything in relation to the proposal. So in preparation to that meeting next week, in mid-November, it's certainly worth looking at that documentation.
Yeah, and I mean, I assume, I mean, we're putting together a list of, you know, what are you going to do about the following to mitigate it? Obviously, the junction is one. I mean, the only logical thing is put traffic lights there, and that's really, who wants that, you know, but I can't see what else they can do. There's no room for a mini roundabout even. So I don't know what they're going to do on the junction. And then, you know, is there going to be sustainable housing? What are they going to do about doctors, the school? Are they going to expand the school? Yeah, there's so much.
Well, that's in the documentation.
Yeah, but do you believe it? You know,
Who knows?
I mean, well, as I say, I guess my concern is to try and get some reassurance from the council. Otherwise, I might have to stand again. To, you know, reflect the people's wishes as opposed to just saying, "Oh yeah, well that's nice. We got some more houses. We can get some more money in."
Well, yeah, we'll definitely be doing that. So yeah, we're committed to doing that. So
yeah, I can't imagine you wouldn't, but I just wanted it on record that we've asked the question.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Right.
72 Nor Road is my employer, so there is an interest.
Oh,
But
right.
I'll abstain from that anyway.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. Right, councillors, I'm going to start the planning applications and I'll bring up the 2259 Glenorchy to the top of the agenda. So this was a late planning application, came in only a few days ago. And I'll read out the full wording on it. Section 73 application to the vary condition 2, in brackets plans, attached to planning permission 0961, erection of a 2-storey extension, removal of existing pitched roof at first floor level, enlargement of first floor and erection of a new pitched roof, removal of the existing side pitched roofs to single stories and replacement with flat roofs, in brackets 1 to be a green roof, and changes to the fenestration, close brackets, to allow for the admission of the rear piggyback extension element. Right. Just for clarification, I'm going to read out to you what section 73 is all about. So amending the conditions attached to a permission. An application under section 73 can be used to make a material amendment by varying or removing conditions associated with a planning permission. There is no statutory limit on the degree of change permissible to conditions under section 73, but the change must only relate to conditions and not to the operative part of the permission. Section 73 cannot be used to change the description of the development. Permission granted under Section 73 takes effect as a new, independent permission to carry out the same development as previously permitted, subject to a new or amended conditions. The new permission sits alongside the original permission, which remains intact and unamended. It is open to the applicant to decide whether to implement the new permission or the one originally granted. In the case of Glenorchy, the Section 73 application is dealing with reducing the scale of the build project that received planning consent. The planned amendments relate to the front elevation, north and south elevations. There is no change planned for the rear elevation. These amendments are acceptable to the neighbours on both sides of the application. In fact, less of an impact than the approved permission in the view of the neighbours on each side. I'm therefore going to recommend that we vote on approval for this application. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. All in favour, yes.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Thank you. We're going to drop off now.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mr. Robertson. Right, back to the well, we'll deal with Peters, which happens to be on the first of the list anyway. The Cape Court. 1885, prior approval for the reconstruction of the existing agricultural barn to form one dwelling with operational development, including new roof, first floor cladding, Juliet balcony, new windows, doors, and roof lights. Peter, I would like you to answer one question of mine, which is, given the fact that it's got pan tiles on at the moment, or what there is of the barn. Oh, okay. I was wondering why you're going for the sheet material on the roof as opposed to pan tiles.
Looking at the barn conversions that have been done, if we come off the motorway to Clevedon.
Yeah.
Those.
On All Saints Lane.
Yeah, the general consensus is it's less weight on the roof.
Okay.
The architect suggested it for insulation and everything else.
Okay. Yeah. Right, councillors.
Double Roman tiles on, it actually came from Tank Factory in Nottingham.
Ah.
I bought them in as a load in the 1970s.
As one does. Right, comments from the floor? No? No objection? Yep, carried unanimously. Right, you'll notice on the agenda that we do have a great bunch of trees. So I'm going to skip them and bring them up as a whole at the end. All right? We'll just do with the housing. So application 2033, 29 The Downs, proposed alterations to windows and doors to the front and side elevations and removal of the existing cloakroom, conversion of one or two existing integral garages to a utility and shower room. So this is reducing it from 2 garage to 1 and going up the up a story. Comments from the floor? No issues? No, I didn't have any either. We'd like to propose this one for no objection. All seconded by Bob. All in favour, no objection. Thank you. Yep. 2088, 26 Sorrel Gardens, proposed alterations to the ground floor layout to include new glazed gable and bifolding doors to the existing rear extension, internal wall changes and fenestration, and solar panels. Right. Yep.
One comment.
Yes, that's right. No objection. Seconded by Tim. All in favour, no objection. Thank you. 2102, 168 Merlin Park, proposed direction of the first floor extension over the existing garage with a small infill extension to the rear. a lot of properties up on Merlin have done this. Indeed. Indeed. Who's proposing? David, seconded by Paul. No objection. Okay. 2111, 7 Bedouin Close. Proposed like-for-like replacement and upgrade of the existing single-storey side and rear extensions. Will look very straightforward to me. Paul, seconded by David. No objection. 2123, 3840 High Street. Change the shop front on front and side elevations by inserting deeper windows. This is HSBC. We don't know who's put the application in. It comes in from agents. So they're setting back those 3 front windows. Does anyone have an idea as to who it could be? Banking hub, chemist.
I think in the letter we received from Healthier Together, they note that.
Can you put the mic on?
In the further on the agenda, we've got a letter from Healthier Together in relation to the pharmacy issue, and they've said that a pharmacist has applied for 40 High Street, Portishead, which is the bank location. So I think combining that information with this, it's likely to be.
Well, you're answering our question. Right, good. So, no objection on that one, I presume.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is there any information about the car park? Does the car park belong to HSBC?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
It does. So that could be a contention, obviously, with
There's
the
nothing in the
residents
plan.
using it at the moment.
They're just updating the shop front at the moment, aren't they? But yeah,
It's a good observation anyway.
Yeah.
Noted. So on the next page, it's all trees apart from 2113, 14 Frobisher Avenue, single-storey rear extension. Any comments? All very straightforward again. Paul and David, no objection. On the opposite page, over the page, 2247, the poll for telecommunications broadband. Does anyone have any comments about that? Which just leaves the 1, 2, no, 1, which is a little bit more complex, and it's the Rodmore Road one on the late applications again, 2218. Now, do we want to discuss this one? Do we want to defer it?
I would prefer to defer it.
It's in your will, both of you.
I've had a look at it, but if we're going to defer it, let's hang fire on comments. I couldn't see any planning related objections when I looked at it. I think on aesthetic grounds, it's going to destroy the symmetry of one of 2 quite landmark semi-detached houses in the area, but which is sad. But I think from a planning perspective, I don't have any issues.
I think in light of what you've just said, I feel the same. And so I'm happy to defer it as well. We'll defer it. Right, so you have your batch of trees, some of which are TRCAs and others are TPO'd. Are there any comments in relation to any of them?
There's been a public comment in relation to the first TRCA at Kilkenny Place, which I was a bit confused by. The commenter said that the tree was on. It's not owned by the residents who are putting in the application. It's communal land. Previously, any tree work on this site has to be applied for by our management company. Currently use property management, but then when I looked at the application was put in by use property management. So at that point, I got a little bit confused. So my sense is, if it has come in from Eves, as the application says, I think it's okay. And the person who's raising the objection isn't objecting to the work per se; he's just objecting to the process. So,
I see. Right.
So, maybe.
And it's a relatively minor
It is.
1 metre crowning and whatnot. Right, shall we just okay about all the trees then? Right.
No objections, Rick, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that draws to a conclusion, I think, the planning applications, which leaves us with a couple of other points in relation to agenda item 8.2, which is pharmaceutical needs assessment, the PNA. So Portishead Town Council wrote to NHS Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire following the pharmaceutical needs assessment consultation to express concern for pharmaceutical needs provision in Portishead, and a response was received on the 16th of October. And David, you're going to be talking about that, please.
Yeah, I drafted the original letter about this, and we were concerned that the pharmaceutical needs assessment was slightly misleading in that Portishead appears to be underprovided compared to the North Somerset as a whole with community pharmacies, in that we have just 3 of them. We've now only got 1. But at the time of the consultation, we had 3, and that would make us below the per capita number of pharmacies compared to the rest of North Somerset. So I was just going to ask, and what this letter is essentially saying is that they take on board our comments. There have been 2 applications for pharmacies, including the one at 38 to 40 the High Street, and the second one somewhere around Wyndham Way, Brampton Way. And they're saying if we want to challenge the pharmaceutical needs assessment, as we did, we should write to the Health and Wellbeing Board, and they give an email address for that. But I think we've already contacted them, Sharon. Haven't we? We have already objected, so we're kind of being sent in a bit of a circle. It wasn't the best worded letter I've ever read.
No.
So I think we let this play out, really.
Aside from the news that you've just given us in relation to HSBC, do we assume that the Portishead Health Centre will have another chemist moving in alongside them? I mean, there was talk about the West Hill group going down there, wasn't there? And what about the Waitrose situation? Is that also going to get filled by someone, do you think?
Don't know.
I don't know.
Health Centre subletted the land to Jutes, who were there before, and it was them who asked them to move out because of, for whatever reason. So I would imagine they'll be looking to replace that, and that may be the basis of this John Ware Limited application here, which is not specific about the place, but it says the area bounded by Wyndham Way and Brampton Way, which would include the health centre potentially. But, you know.
Right. Okay, so the recommendation is to consider the attached letter and any formal response which you've just given us.
I think, Sharon, if this is the email we've replied to previously, no. I just wanted to double check that. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
It's a comment. It's just frustratingly slow, isn't it? This whole process of consultation, it's really frustrating for the people of Portishead. You know, we're now down to 1 pharmacy, having previously had 4.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Agenda item 8.3, North Somerset Council SIL payments. PTC has received notification from NSC that it will receive the following share of SIL payments for the period 1st of April of this year to the 31st of September. And the recommendation is to note that, which is a total of £5,859.09, is that? All right, which came from 2 applications, the rear of 62 High Street and the 18 Hallowell Road. Righty-ho. Yeah.
Just going to note it.
Yep. So we move on to 8.4, which were 2 Disabled Bay applications, both on Briery Road. And Sharon and I went up to visit the site. We considered that there were the proposed bays were perfectly acceptable. And so that report went in earlier this month. No, end of October. Right. Any comments about that one? No.
Is this the same process, the open door process, or are they going through a different process because they're disabled bays? Okay, so they have hopefully a higher priority, do they? Or do we know? We don't know. Well, we'll watch this space then.
I mean, we did note that the applications for these bays were up here, and of course the residents' front doors are down here, and it's all stepped between them. There's only one sort of slopey way round, which is quite a long detour, so not really quite sure how things happen there. So 8.5.
Sorry, you're going to vote on that?
Oh, well, I'll propose a vote then. I propose
No objection?
No objection. No. Yep. Thank you. 8.5 is highways improvements. So there have been a couple of proposals made, which are, one, a zebra crossing from Marina Gardens to the shops, Home Bargains area. Two, a pedestrian crossing on Harbour Road. I think that's in the Kestrel Court sort of area. And three, another one, which is between Harbour Road and Majestic Wines, or thereabout.
I've read these three, and they've all come in at the same time. I suspect it's three different people applying to want the same zebra crossing rather than three separate zebra crossings.
Yeah, and we know that there's going to be road upheavals there in the near future when the railway station site has started. So I suspect that this will get resolved as a conclusion of that.
I'd say it will get resolved very quickly. I mean, you know, it's almost formal that these crossings going to be put in place anyway. So,
Tim,
it does seem like quite a few zebra crossings quite close together, which seems a bit strange.
I think it needs one more down there, certainly, but exactly where do you think? Probably one.
I mean, I presume that the path, Sainsbury's path, will still come out onto the access into Phoenix Way, but we're not quite sure of the exact location of that roundabout.
Would it be better to write to the people doing the railway station and say, what are your plans for zebra crossings and road layout? Because I don't think we've seen detailed plans, have we?
We've seen the plans for the station side, but I'm not sure whether it necessarily picked up on the crossings.
Why don't can we communicate? Because we might sit here and hope they do something, but they may not, of course, you know. I'd rather.
Presumably it's a combination of Network Rail and Northampton Council.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Why don't we write to the NSC guy that's in charge of the railway stuff and just find out find out categorically the reconfiguration of the Keys Avenue.
Just explain to them we've had people asking for these zebra crossings for like years now, and so you know there needs to be is something going to be done as part of the railway station and the new layout or not? Or can he? So they must have got reasonably detailed plans by now, I would have thought.
Oh, I think that's definitely detailed, yes, because they've gone through the system, haven't they?
Okay, let's find out what the railway's doing first, and then we can then see whether we think it's going to sort of satisfy the need moving forward.
Yeah, Bob.
I think that's my concerns as well. I mean, there seems to be a proposals coming in left, right, and centre because obviously the railway line's coming here. We were at a bus meeting the other day. First are now talking about reintroducing the bus route around the marina. So I think that's the problem. It is just there's all these ideas are going to come flowing in, and if we're not careful, it's going to be a mix-match of unnecessary development or unnecessary street furniture that will appear that's not ideally needed.
David, did you want to say something?
It was just on a related note, related to zebra crossings, to make sure we follow up the request for one on Bristol Road, which I think possibly got lost, or it may be in the North Somerset pipeline. But I remember when I first started as a councillor, it was on our budget, and it's since got dropped from the budget. I think it says 20,000 for it, and so it's just to make because. That area particularly, it struck me at the time, was in need of a zebra crossing. You know, so if we were to prioritise, because there's absolutely nothing there, and you've got lots of people, as Paul was saying earlier, on crossing the road late at night, and there were concerns about children's safety, it seems to me that should be prioritised. We just need to make sure it's in the pipeline.
Yeah, thank you for raising.
So what we're asking Sharon to write to David Bailey to find out where it is.
Yeah.
That's what David's just said.
They did the first assessment. Right. They did find the right to get the roads right for junctions and so on. And I thought they couldn't put one in. So I don't know where they could do it, but they did come and have a look and measured up. It was costed. So just some issue, safe route to schools in that area. Some issue about whether they could put it in the right place rather than
Although, of course, at the bottom of Coombe Road, it's quite close to the junction. Yeah.
Okay, so if we ask Sharon to find out from David Bailey if there are any plans whatsoever for it, or if not, we'll have to start again. So,
still need it.
We're going to developing.
Yeah.
Right outside.
So the plans change.
At the moment, it's that building stuff is owned by one of the club sponsors. So it's staying there at the moment.
Okay. Agenda item 8.5, Nor Road speed reduction proposals that have been assessed by North Somerset Council as 1 to 8 risk, which David's going to explain to us. Ah, good. Even better. Thank you. Mike, are you planning to say something about this? Did you want to comment?
Not really, but I listen with interest.
Okay, David.
At the moment.
So if I kick off, following complaints from a number of residents about speeding on Nor Road and speed camera data of cars going over 50, we put in an application to North Somerset highlighting both the data on speeding, the series of serious crashes that had occurred in the area between the junction between Nor Road and Slade Road and Battery Road, and also highlighted the fact that there were some elderly people living on the right hand side as you go up Nor Road who are having difficulty, just found it unsafe exiting their driveways because of speeding cars, and their driveways are on the slope, so it makes it very difficult for them to exit. So we put in an application from North Somerset to have speed restrictions put there, and I'm pleased to say they've put it forward to the next stage of assessment, which will be an assessment by the road traffic team. It scored 4 out of 8 on their scoring system, and the point I just wanted to raise was I had a little look at the scoring system that they're using. It's an 8-point scale, and you have to score 4 or more to get shortlisted. And I was just surprised that in the pointing system, contribution to better health, well-being, safety and security was only awarded 1 mark out of 8. So that means if there had been 2 or 3 deaths there, it would still score no highly than, for example, taking action against climate change and addressing poor outcomes.
So, because the first one's take action against climate change, so putting in a 20-mile limit is never going to score anything, is it? So you're always going to get a 0. Perhaps we should take this out with our North Somerset councillors.
My concern was from a health perspective and loss of life perspective. And it just seems to me that this scoring system could do with reassessment. And if committee members agree, I could draft a letter just raising that question.
Because it's not. It just doesn't make any sense.
And we came within a whisker of not getting shortlisted, simply because risk. Security, well-being, better health scored just 1 on that.
It looks like a classic case of someone's got their tick boxes and you're going to get 1 point in each tick box.
Pinches.
So you haven't got a path to see if there's any coming in, but whatever speed they're going. You could thought it would have been an easy priority.
There are people on that road who've been campaigning for years.
60 years ago.
First person to say that.
If you come out of the dentist, so it's not the south side, you can't see it.
That's absolutely right then.
You can't see it, that's all. You just got to put your nose out over the road so one or another.
But I think your main point, I think, would be definitely right in, because we have got quite a few of these going through the pipeline, so you can see what's going to happen, and they're all going to get rejected.
Well, I think the good news is this has got through. So
but
I don't think we should kick up too much of a fuss. I just think a general methodological point.
Well, they're probably all going to get 4 or 3 or something out of 8, because they can't possibly get more than 4, because you can't tick the boxes on the other ones.
So we want to write to Muslims at council, yeah.
And some of this was specific observations from the residents of the URC church, wasn't it? Who have witnessed the accidents into the wall just below them, and asked for a minimum of an extension of the 20-mile-an-hour signs just up to the top with the Battery Road junction, or if not further.
I think some traffic calming measures as well.
Interesting, because one of them is create a great place for people to live, work, and visit. Stroke North Somerset corporate plan. And what does that mean?
Bob?
I mean, it's to me, this is probably getting more and more highlighted across Portishead. If you look at the accidents that are now appearing regularly throughout the routes of Portishead with incoming and outgoing traffic, I think it's another thing we really need to start looking at. So it's just my opinion, but yeah, I mean, this week 2 accidents, just yesterday, in Portishead. So, and again, I'm sure Peter knows that the lovely crash mat that the police supposedly use is never updated correctly. It's always behind, and it takes about 2 years to actually get any idea of what's actually happening.
And I'm sure, Mike, you would agree that not very many cars pass your house at 30 miles an hour, do they?
Just to say, I only came to the meeting through interest, not realising this was on the agenda. But I would say I do hear people comment about how fast the cars go down Nor Road. Of course, Nor Road is a very long road. And certainly, and that includes me, you have to be very careful driving out onto the road, because there are cars going down very fast who will struggle to stop because they're probably speeding. And I've seen I saw virtually, well, anyway, there are accidents either happening or potentially happening. There's problems with cars coming in and out of Windmill, which is right opposite me. It's a dangerous spot. So I think there is a need for calming measures along significant stretches of Nor Road. The question is how far up Nor Road you go, really.
Yeah.
So our proposal is up to the Windmill.
Well, I would certainly go up to and just beyond the Windmill, because that's where cars slow down to pull in or pull out. I got a friend who's anecdotally, whose daughter pulled out of the road going up out of Windmill, and a young man hit a car on the side, and she was in hospital. Not deliberate, obviously. Well, but just negligent, I reckon. That it's a dangerous area.
I guess now is the time to revisit the application, because it's in and it's got shortlisted and they're going to look at it. So that's good news. But if it gets rejected at the next stage, we can put all this additional information in again.
And we heard last night also that Alan's trying to get the Speedwatch group up again, isn't he?
That was a bit of my concern with the Speedwatch team. Dave Warrior was the guy that was running it before. I think it was run by a couple of residents on Bristol Road at one point. And I think the problem is it's trying to get people to do the speed watch. And I'm just wondering if the police would do a different format where they could get some like community interest. So like the residents of Nor Road, if they could just do it for like a couple of months instead of feeling like they're committed to a speed watch group that they're expected to run for the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, I think that's one of the issues.
There we are, Mike. There's an opportunity for you. Right, let's move on to bats. As one does. North Somerset's and Mendip's bat special area of conservation. There's obviously a consultation going on, and you have until the 3rd of December to comment, should you so wish. Bob, you want to say something?
Strangely enough, with all the issues about Western Bigwood, I'm one of the residents that's on this, because as we have bats right by us, right by Western Bigwood.
Are they just on the south side of the island? Yeah. So yeah. Are they on the north side as well, or just the south side?
Are they currently in your barn, your derelict barn? Ah, right.
One of the neighbours.
Conveniently, yes.
The neighbour gets his card whenever he does.
Some in the bottom of our garden and the oil tank.
Well, join the survey then.
Well, there we go.
It is actually quite important. This is one of the issues that will stop development. So, yeah. Can we just ask Amy to publicise this consultation? As you're going to say the same.
Good thinking.
Yeah.
Do we need to send to Wild Portishead as well, or will they pick it up if it's publicised by?
Right. And you have lastly the list of decisions, and you'll notice that the balcony down at Eastcliff got refused. Right, so the date of the next meeting is on the 3rd of December, and got something new here. Items for next meeting, to note any items requiring consideration in December. Invitation to you all to submit anything you wish to discuss of relevance to planning and placement. Thank you, councillors, and the two of you for coming. And Mike, thanks.
You closed?
Oh, yes, meeting closed.